We're here with Mark Welch, the Director of Community Relations and also Director of our Town and Gown program. Mark, for folks that aren't familiar with what our Town and Gown initiative is, share a little bit about that partnership.
We have a Town and Gown partnership here in Murray that has existed for about 10 years, and it's a sort of a formal way of doing what normally exists in a university town, and that's working relationships back and forth between town and gown, the university campus. We've historically had a great town and gown relationship, so it's been easy to work off. Getting about 40 plus partners who contribute into a town and gown partnership fund, and we in turn reinvest that money back into the community.
Well, I know those partners, as well as others in the community, look forward to the impact when all these students converge on Murray again for the fall. Talk a little bit about just what that does to our community.
Well, it's huge, Jim. Based on a 2003 economic impact survey, the average student spends somewhere between $7,500 and $8,000 in our community. Wow. That's beyond what they're spending on tuition and meal plans. So I tell people, if you see a couple of kids in a car and you're frustrated with the traffic in Murray, keep in mind that's about $15,000 or $16,000 sitting in that automobile in impact to Murray, and that'll change your attitude about that impact in our community. But beyond that, there's some broader impacts that students and faculty have in a community, and one of them is that there's a constant influx of new residents into our community. So if we want to keep the best and the brightest, it makes sense to do what is necessary to keep some of our better graduates in the community. There are other communities that would wish they had that constant influx of residents on a regular basis. Secondly, and you know this to be true, university campuses bring events and culture to a community. And I tell people all the time, I hear 4 or 5 languages a day.
Sure.
During the course of an academic year, there are concerts and ballet and lectures and people here in town like Bob Dylan for a concert, or Desmond Tutu for a lecture that would not normally happen probably in a university of this size. Also, universities represent an economic stabilizer. When you have as many employees and students here on campus, the funding for those jobs are pretty secure. So for a town our size, that's a significant economic stabilizer. And then fourthly, and I think a lot of people recognize that universities bring a notoriety to cities that might not normally be here.
Yep. Mark, I think the size of Murray and the size of the university are a right size to make an impact there, and I think our prior town and gown relationship is very special here. But thanks for coming and sharing today.
Thank you very
about
much.
some of those special things that make Murray State University a great place.